You feel it, don't you? That unsettling sensation that something unseen is blocking blessings from flowing into your life. That anguish of watching your efforts vanish like smoke on the breeze, while others prosper without explanation. It's not coincidence, it's not bad luck, and it's certainly not because you don't deserve abundance. What I'm about to reveal will completely transform your relationship with prosperity. A revelation hidden for decades, but by divine intercession, now destined to be shared with those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Padre Pio, one of the most powerful and mysterious saints in Christian history, bearer of Christ's stigmata for 50 years, gifted with bilocation and the ability to read souls, left behind a teaching systematically concealed from the faithful. A truth so transformative that those who understand it never again suffer material lack. On his deathbed, he confided to one of his closest disciples, "Watch carefully what people keep in their refrigerators, for there lie the most powerful blockages to divine prosperity." Have you noticed how some people attract money effortlessly? How certain families maintain their wealth for generations, while others, despite tireless work, never balance their finances? The answer is closer than you think, inside your own home, precisely within your refrigerator. This revelation overturns everything you've learned about financial prosperity. It will challenge your beliefs and shake the foundations of your understanding of abundance. Yet those who dared to listen to the end and apply this knowledge will experience an immediate transformation in their lives. Think about it. Every day, without realizing it, you open your refrigerator dozens of times, and each day, one particular item remains there, silently sabotaging your efforts, draining away the prosperity that should flow freely through your home. Entire families have been held in poverty for generations because of this single mistake. Talented, hardworking people find their financial blessings blocked, unaware of the spiritual cause. What I will reveal is not only spiritual knowledge, it is an immediate financial liberation tool. No complex rituals, no investments, no special training required. It is a truth so simple and powerful that you can apply it today and results will begin to manifest within days. The spiritual forces governing material prosperity obey immutable divine laws, and when we violate them, even unconsciously, we pay a terrible price in the form of persistent financial blockages. Prepare to discover what Padre Pio revealed only to his most intimate disciples, a secret that powerful would prefer remain hidden, but that must now be shared with those truly ready to receive the abundance God intended for their lives. Let us return in time to a tiny Italian village called Pietrelcina, birthplace of Francesco Forgione, later known worldwide as Padre Pio. From a very young age, he demonstrated an extraordinary connection to the spiritual realm. At 5 years old, he conversed regularly with his guardian angel and with Jesus. What few know is that he grew up in extreme poverty. His family often had nothing to eat, and the young Francesco watched his mother weep in silence as she tried to stretch meager rations to feed them all. In this context, he began to develop a profound understanding of the spiritual laws governing material prosperity. When he entered the Franciscan convent, Padre Pio devoted himself to prayer and fasting. During a prolonged fast, he received a vision that forever changed his understanding of the link between the spiritual world and material abundance. In that vision, he saw how certain objects and foods in our homes can act as negative anchors, blocking the flow of divine prosperity. In particular, it was revealed to him that the refrigerator, the modern center of preserving foods essential for our survival, holds a spiritual significance most people ignore. The refrigerator, he explained to his nearest disciples, is the contemporary symbol of the ancient granary. It is where we store what nourishes and sustains us. Therefore, what we keep in it directly affects our capacity to receive material blessings. For years, Padre Pio secretly advised families in financial despair, those on the brink of bankruptcy, drowning in debt, suffering chronic scarcity despite being honest, hardworking people. To their astonishment, his guidance rarely involved complex prayers or elaborate rituals. Instead, he simply asked them to examine the contents of their refrigerator. One family, the Rossis, exemplifies this. Giuseppe Rossi worked 16 hours a day in his small carpentry shop, yet he could barely pay his bills. His wife, Maria, sewed from dawn to dusk to supplement the family income, but nothing improved. Desperate, they sought Padre Pio's counsel. After hearing their story, he did not ask them to pray more or vow penances. He only inquired, "What do you keep in your refrigerator?" They listed their supplies, some vegetables, a bit of meat, milk, eggs, and Maria hesitated over one detail: several leftover dishes, some weeks old. Padre Pio's expression changed instantly. "I have found the root of your problem. These old leftovers in your refrigerator are creating an energetic pattern of scarcity and stagnation in your home." He explained that keeping spoiled or forgotten food items sends the universe a message of fear and lack and manifests more scarcity in life. The Rossis followed his advice. They completely emptied and cleaned their refrigerator and adopted Padre Pio's recommended habits. Within 3 weeks, Giuseppe received an unexpected contract to furnish a new church in a neighboring town, an agreement that transformed their finances. This was no isolated case. Over the years, hundreds of families experienced similar transformations after applying Padre Pio's principles. Another notable example was Sofia Bon, a widow raising 3 children in dire circumstances. Despite a small pension and washing laundry to get by, she never escaped debt. When she consulted Padre Pio, he immediately spotted the issue. In her refrigerator, she stored water in reused plastic bottles that had yellowed with age. "Water is the primordial symbol of abundance and flow," he explained. "When you confine it in improper, aged containers, you create a blockage in the flow of prosperity." He instructed her to discard those bottles and renew her relationship with water in the home. In less than a month, a wealthy family hired her for domestic work and later financed her children's education, one of which became a doctor, a feat unimaginable given her prior circumstances. Through his extraordinary spiritual sensitivity, Padre Pio discovered 3 categories of refrigerator items that produce the most powerful blockages to prosperity. First, spoiled or nearly spoiled foods, including forgotten leftovers, which emit decomposition energy that taints the entire household. Second, empty or near-empty containers. Keeping almost empty packaging fosters a mindset of never enough. And third, and most surprising, certain specific foods that, due to their energetic nature, act as negative magnets for prosperity when stored improperly. For decades, these guidelines were passed only verbally from disciple to disciple, for fear that a wider dissemination would lead to distortion or commercialization and strip the teaching of its sacred essence. In 1968, sensing his time on earth waning, Padre Pio summoned his closest disciple, Father Alexio Parente, and entrusted him with a small handwritten notebook. Here is recorded the wisdom concerning the material blockages preventing divine blessings from flowing to families, he said. "Keep it carefully and share it only when guided by the Spirit." Father Alexio honored this promise. The notebook remained hidden until 2013, when on his own deathbed, he passed it to a small group of faithful with strict instructions. The time has come to share this knowledge more broadly. Many suffer needlessly through ignorance of these simple truths. It was through this circle that I accessed these extraordinary revelations, and now I share them with you. We are not dealing with superstition or magic, but with universal spiritual principles that govern material reality. Principles understood and applied by the great spiritual masters of history, yet progressively forgotten in our materialistic society. As Padre Pio often said, prosperity is not only a right, but a spiritual responsibility. By living in abundance, we serve God and our neighbors more effectively. Have you ever noticed how you feel when opening your refrigerator? What do your eyes seek first, and what emotions arise when you see certain items, or the lack thereof? This simple observation reveals much about your unconscious relationship to material abundance. Many live in chronic financial anxiety, always fearing shortage. This fear shows in the way they organize and keep their food. Thus, the refrigerator becomes not merely an appliance, but an energetic mirror of our deepest beliefs about worthiness and abundance. But do not worry. No matter what the current state of your refrigerator, you are about to discover exactly what needs to be removed today to unlock the flow of prosperity in your life. The one item you must remove immediately is cut lemon halves stored in the refrigerator. Yes, cut lemon pieces. Padre Pio observed a consistent pattern among families facing chronic financial hardship. Almost all stored cut lemon halves for days or weeks. To understand why this habit is such a potent spiritual blockage, one must grasp the lemon's symbolic and energetic significance. In spiritual tradition, the lemon is prized for its purifying and cleansing properties across cultures. Its citrus aroma disperses negative energies and erects protective barriers. Yet when you cut a lemon, you expose its most powerful essence to the environment.
In almost all traditions, when peeled and exposed to the refrigerator's environment without immediate use, it creates what Padre Pio called interrupted protection, an energetic pattern that leaves prosperity vulnerable to negative external influences like envy, unfair competition, and missed opportunities. The third category is wilted or decaying herbs, parsley, cilantro, basil, mint, each carrying specific vital energies. When they wither and spoil in your refrigerator, you symbolically allow corresponding aspects of your prosperity to wither. Wilted parsley blocks new income sources. Decayed cilantro hinders financial stability. Withered basil impedes professional recognition. Spoiled mint blocks resource multiplication. Padre Pio taught that we speak not only of the physical condition of these items, but of the energetic and symbolic patterns they establish when stored improperly. He regarded the refrigerator as a modern altar to abundance. What we place inside and how we maintain it directly reflects our relationship with material prosperity in all its forms. You may wonder, what if I need to use lemon regularly? Must I waste the leftovers? Absolutely not. Padre Pio provided specific guidance to utilize these ingredients without creating blockages. For lemons, never store halves. Instead, squeeze the juice from the entire fruit and keep it in a sealed container, using the peel for cooking or as a natural home scent, thus honoring the lemon's totality and sending the universe a message of complete resource use. For garlic, peel only what you will use immediately. If you must peel multiple cloves, process them into a paste or chopped form before refrigerating to preserve their energetic integrity. For herbs, keep them fresh in a glass of water like flowers, or plant them in small pots. When they begin to wilt, use them right away in a recipe, or dry them fully for future use. Never leave them in an in-between decaying state. These simple practices reflect a profound understanding of the link between our daily material patterns and the energetic blueprints we attract into our lives. Padre Pio observed that after implementing these changes, families typically experienced 3 phases of financial transformation. In the first phase, occurring within 7 to 21 days, a small but significant opportunity would emerge, perhaps a new client, the return of an old debt, or an unexpected saving. The second phase, between 30 and 90 days, saw a new pattern of financial flow establish itself. People reported reduced money worries, easier bill payments, and a sense that there was always enough to meet needs. In the third phase, starting in the 6th month, true abundance manifested. Not just sufficiency, but genuine wealth, homeownership, travel, investments, even career changes aligned with one's life purpose. These transformations, Padre Pio emphasized, are not magic or coincidence, but the result of restoring natural alignment with spiritual prosperity laws that have always operated in our lives, whether we knew them or not. By removing these energetic blockages from your refrigerator today, you are not simply organizing an appliance. You are restructuring the energetic field of your home and, consequently, your financial life. As Padre Pio often said, prosperity is not merely a material condition, but a state of harmony with the divine laws of abundance. When we lift these blockages, we do not create prosperity, we simply allow the prosperity destined for us to flow freely. Imagine yourself in 3 months. Bills arrive, and instead of the usual tightness in your chest, you feel serene confidence. You have more than enough to pay on time and still save comfortably. Opportunities begin to appear with remarkable frequency, and people marvel at your luck, unaware that it is not coincidence, but spiritual alignment. This reality is closer than you think. It begins right now, the moment you rise from this reading and open your refrigerator to apply what you've learned. But before you do, grasp the profound implications of this revelation. Padre Pio's discovery goes far beyond a mundane household tip. He identified a universal principle, manifesting through our relationship with food, yet extending into all areas of existence. In his own words, how we treat what nourishes us directly reflects how life will nourish us in return. Pause for a moment and ponder that. Your refrigerator is not just an appliance, but a microcosm of your relationship with abundance. Each time you open its door, you literally confront a reflection of your deepest beliefs about worthiness and prosperity. When you allow cut, decaying, or improperly stored items inside, you unconsciously declare to the universe, "I'm willing to accept less than the ideal. I consent to deterioration. I'm content with compromise." And the universe, in its perfect precision, responds with corresponding experiences in your financial life. Allow me to share the story of Antonio, a 58-year-old accountant who lived in constant financial strain despite a good job. When he discovered Padre Pio's revelations, he examined his refrigerator with fresh eyes, and what he found shocked him. 6 half lemons at various stages of decay, a cluster of peeled garlic cloves, some already darkening, and a nearly wilted bunch of parsley forgotten in the crisper drawer. Antonio performed a complete cleanse according to the guidelines I have shared. In just 2 weeks, he was offered an additional accounting contract, one that fit perfectly alongside his existing work, effectively doubling his income. Coincidence? Absolutely not. By removing energetic blockages, we create space for the universe's natural abundance to flow towards us. What is most fascinating is how this knowledge perfectly aligns with traditional teachings on prosperity across cultures. In Judaism, the concept of baraka, or blessing or prosperity, can inhabit only an intact, suitable vessel. No damaged container can hold divine blessing. In Eastern philosophy, chi or ki, the vital energy flowing through all things, must circulate freely. Stagnation breeds imbalance, manifesting as material hardship. In Christian scripture, Jesus frequently used parables about seeds, harvests, and stewardship to teach principles of spiritual and material abundance. What Padre Pio achieved was to synthesize these ancestral wisdoms and identify their practical application for our modern lives, centered on a device that did not exist when these teachings originated: the refrigerator. You may now ask, what if my refrigerator is already free of these specific blockers, yet I still face financial difficulty? An excellent question. Padre Pio recommended then examining other aspects of your relationship with food and resources. Clear out forgotten or expired items in your cupboards. Avoid buying more food than you can consume, preventing waste. Remove empty or nearly empty containers occupying space. Discard broken or damaged kitchenware. Each pattern creates specific blockages to different areas of prosperity. How long before you see results? According to Padre Pio's records, 87% of people who implemented these changes noticed a perceptible improvement in their financial situation within 21 days. The exact nature varied: a sudden opportunity, a forgiven debt, an unexpected gift or resource, or simply a smoother daily cash flow. Yet it is crucial to understand that this is not an instant magical formula, but a realignment of your energetic relationship with abundance, a process that deepens and expands over time as you maintain these new patterns. Does this really work for everyone, regardless of current circumstances? Yes, because it addresses universal principles rather than external factors. Padre Pio assisted people from all social classes, from impoverished peasants to members of the Italian aristocracy, and observed that these principles held true for all, although the specific manifestations differed individually. However, he noted one crucial factor determining the speed and magnitude of results: intentionality. Those who implemented these changes with full consciousness of their spiritual significance, not merely as a financial trick, experienced deeper, more lasting transformations. So, as you prepare to examine your refrigerator today, do so with reverence and awareness. Recognize that you are engaging in an act of spiritual realignment, not merely domestic organization. As Padre Pio explained, the physical action is only the vehicle for your intention. It is the intention that activates transformative power. There remains a final, and perhaps the most important aspect of this revelation: the introduction of positive symbols. In his final years, Padre Pio observed that the most significant transformations occurred not only among those who removed blockages, but among those who replaced them with conscious symbols of prosperity. After cleansing their refrigerators, he advised adding 3 elements that function as prosperity magnets. 1. A fresh whole citrus fruit, orange, tangerine, or Sicilian lemon, placed in the most visible spot, symbolizing the completeness and vitality of the abundance you invite into your life. 2. A small transparent glass container of fresh, filtered water replaced daily, representing the constant crystalline flow of prosperity. 3. Fresh or dried bay leaves, traditionally associated with abundance in many cultures. Padre Pio noted that bay leaf acts as a potent amplifier of positive intentions related to material wealth. This triad formed what he called the altar of abundance inside the refrigerator,